Hello, I am Christopher Horsethief. I am one of the instructors in the College of the Rockies Nation Building program. And today we are in my office. I am a doctoral student at Gonzaga University's doctoral program in leadership studies. I live here in Spokane Valley, and I jokingly call our little compound here the headquarters of the Dishman Micah Band of the Ktunaxa Nation. Of course, it's not actually a reservation here, but it's where I'm currently setting up shop, reading lots of books, studying, writing, and ultimately having my communications with the students from the program. This is the very terminal that I'll be using to keep in touch with you. There will also be a phone that you can direct dial me at a College of the Rockies extension. So the key to online learning programs is making sure that we continue to communicate often, and we have a very open means of communicating. I'm not the most knowledgeable person in the world, but I've read a lot, and I've worked on a number of interesting projects with various Indian tribes, both in Canada and the U.S. I'll be the first person to tell you that I can't answer your question, and if I can offer some insight into whatever it is that you're working on, I definitely will. I would encourage you very much to communicate with other students, either by email, by chat room, by online correspondence, through the forums, on the Nation Rebuilding Moodle site. Talk to one another, find out what other people are having problems on. I have a feeling that if you're having trouble with some part of the course, my guess is if you ask other students that you are probably not the only person having problems with that area. I encourage people to discuss the things that they're working on. I think that it gives you additional perspectives and insights. I think it's very helpful for you to have somebody to kind of bounce those ideas back and forth off of. But make sure the work that you do turn in is your own work. Unless there is some kind of a collaborative class project, which to my knowledge we don't have any scheduled. The work is expected to be from you, but I definitely think that there is a lot to be gained in having conversations with other people in the courses. In fact, if you work well with certain people, you may want to try and actually register for the same courses so you have somebody that you can work well with. This is a little bit of a historic undertaking. I don't want to get dramatic about it, but First Nations people for a very long time have been saying that we have the best understanding of our own community dynamics, that we are better suited to design a curriculum that meets the administrative as well as the traditional and cultural needs of our communities, and ultimately we have understood the cultural trauma and the resulting intergenerational post-traumatic stress disorder in a way that no external researcher could probably experience. Not to say that we shouldn't listen to other people or what they've done, very much on the contrary. I believe that knowledge is power. I believe that it behooves each and every one of you to familiarize yourself with as many theories and hypotheses that other people are working on, and ultimately I consider it my job to tie those ideas, those papers, those journal articles back into the very nature of this course. That being said, I'd like to add that there are a number of resources in the course, including texts and journal articles, peer-reviewed articles that are out of Native America. They are at the forefront of research into the soul wound, into cultural trauma, also areas of cultural match and nation rebuilding. These are not just a new set of policies from the outside world that I expect for you to learn and then regurgitate in a vocational setting. I very much want you to take some of these theories that have been developed by indigenous researchers, many of them here in Canada and the United States, and understand them in such a way that they are helpful in the rebuilding process that's happening in your own community. And whether that means in a year or 2 years when you're done with this program that you are more capable of contributing to sustainable development, more capable of assessing your educational or curriculum needs, or more capable of synthesizing new information that's coming out from empirical studies, regardless of what that is. I think that more fluently we can apply these theories, these resources, and these texts, then the better off those programs are going to be. And I think that does it for the introduction. I'm also posting a lecture, which is kind of a general timeline of what has happened to some of these social structures in First Nations and Native American communities. That's the other thing I did want to mention. I do also teach for Salish Kootenai College, 2 campuses, one here in Spokane and the other on the Spokane Indian Reservation at the Welpinit campus. So some of the resources that I have, a lot of the text and a lot of the resources are the same. So additionally, if I record a good lecture in one format or the other for one program or the other, I'll try to make it available. I'll try and post it as well. So I will be posting kind of an introduction to the historical timeline of some of the things that have happened to our communities, some of the immense cultural change that began in the last 200 or so years and has very much manifested itself in a number of often disturbing ways. In looking at that timeline, it's important to see how some of those social structures changed. And the key to having more open, more fluent, more informed conversations in First Nations communities, a lot of times those are hard conversations. It's not an easy process. Just because we pick up a new tool, a new paper, a new concept, or a new idea doesn't mean that you can always go home or go to your office and talk to the person in the cubicle of the office next to you and have a very open, immediate conversation. A lot of the things that have happened to our communities have disrupted very stable patterns, and from that chaos that ensues, we find some really difficult dynamics to work with. And I think understanding those will go a long way to helping you understand some of the structures and some of the processes that are very germane to this nation rebuilding program. But also I think generally they help you to look at your own community from a little bit more of an objective perspective. So do make sure that you try and watch that lecture. I think it's 3 10-minute segments. And with that, I'd just like to say thank you. I'm very, very honored that you're taking courses from me. I'll do my very best to make sure that we can get those tools into your hands so you can eventually help to disseminate those methodologies, those ways of knowing and understanding what it is about your community that makes it unique, using those and applying them in such a way that we can have a better functioning collective First Nations peoples.